Hi there. So this is my first impressions video of the Nissan Leaf, which I've been lucky enough to have on an extended test drive for the last 4 days. So I was at work, we get a deal through Nissan, and on the intranet it said get a massive discount on a Nissan Leaf, contact your local Nissan dealer for an extended test drive, which was a 4-day test drive. And I thought, well, you know, the discount looks good. I'm sort of in the market for a new car. I'm always in the market for a new car. So I thought, you know, I'll give them a ring up, see what happens, give it a bit of a go. So I rang the dealership, Glyn Hopkins in Milton Keynes, and they were extremely accommodating, which was good. We arranged a date for the car, so I was quite happy with that. And they said I could have it for 4 days. So this week I picked up the car. And I had it on Monday, and then I've had it all week since, driving to and from work, a little bit of commuting around town, going, dropping the kids off, picking the kids up, that kind of stuff. So really it's been a good opportunity to sort of see what the Nissan Leaf was like, what it was, what was, if there was anything good about it, bad about it, did it challenge my sort of preconception about electric cars? Would I be interested in getting one? You know, do the research and see sort of whether they are the value for money that you think they are. And I guess until you really sort of drive one, you can't really tell whether they are value for money or whether, you know, it's just a bit of a sort of hype, a bit of a sort of I don't know, the sort of eco warrior inside you thinking, yeah, I'll do my bit for the planet, etc., etc. So yeah, so really this is just going to be my little review video of how I found the Leaf, because when I was initially looking for them, all I could really find was marketing videos, and I thought, well, I'll do my own little video just to share with people and just say, well, this is my impression. You know, you can agree with it or you can disagree with it. It's up to you. This is you know, everybody's entitled to an opinion. So yeah. So first of all, I guess there's the good things. The good things with the Leaf are really, I mean, it is super quiet. It actually plays a tune to let you know that the car has started, because otherwise you just can't tell. Here, I'll turn the car on. The car's off at the moment. I'll turn the car on just so you can hear it starting up. So that's the tune. And now the car's ready. It's ready to go. See, not a sound. There's not a sound left. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And it is good in that way that there is only the road noise. So if you get some nice quiet tyres, etc., etc., I think you should be okay. So that was me just turning it off there. I don't want to waste electricity. So yeah. So it is super quiet. The tune's quite nice. It's quite cool. The kids love it when the car starts up. They sing along, etc. So that's quite good fun. Equipment wise, this is quite well spec'd. I think this is a 24 kilowatt Tecna model, so it's got all sat nav, it's got everything in it, everything you'd expect from a sort of reasonably sort of mid to high end Nissan car. To be honest though, I'm not really going to go through the specs so much. It's more the impressions of having an electric car. That's the thing, you know. I'm not here to tell you how to use a sat nav or anything like that. It's what's it actually like to own an electric car for these 4 days, for the people who've never had one and may think about it or may never think they would ever have one. So yeah, so other than it being really quite quiet, the next really positive thing is it's quite sort of, it sounds quite futuristic when you're driving in a way, because it is so quiet. It just feels like you're in sort of Star Trek or something like that. It's quite cool. And the acceleration as well, because it's got no gears, the acceleration is pretty instantaneous below sort of like 20 up to 40, so from the standstill all the way up to 40 miles an hour. There's not much that's gonna challenge you in that sense. I mean, obviously your supercars and whatever will, but in terms of your hatchback, your sort of like family car, this will take them from the lights any day of the week. So it's quite good fun. And then there's sort of above 40 miles an hour, it's still reasonable performance. I mean, I have seen how fast this thing can go, and it can do motorway speeds quite comfortably. So yeah, there's nothing to worry about that. But as you go faster, obviously you drain the battery more, which is obviously the yin and yang of it all. So that's one of the issues. but I'll get onto them later on. So yeah, so plus side, it's really nippy. It's great for just nipping around town. And then one other thing I actually quite liked, but this really plays to some of my interests more than anything else, was that with the transmission, you've got two different types of drive. You've actually got three different types of drive. So you've got your normal driving mode, which kind of sits in the middle. You've got an economy driving mode, which sort of reduces the amount of power output and tries to recharge the battery more, so effectively, in theory, makes you go further. And then you've got a driving mode which has quite an aggressive regenerative braking strategy. So when you lift off the throttle, you charge the batteries more. And basically, I mean, all I've done since I've had the car was stick it in that mode. So I've had it's basically got reasonable acceleration, so its acceleration is as quick as the normal driving mode, but when you come to lift off, it actually feels like the car's braking slightly. So I found that was good, because you know, as you sort of adapt your driving style to come into traffic lights in a roundabout, and you end up lifting and coasting to try and sort of regenerate some energy, as opposed to, you know, what you may do in your normal car, which is you drive up to a roundabout and then you press the brakes. It does regenerate energy when you brake as well, but I think it's a more efficient solution for regeneration if you lift and coast and then you brake when you need to. And I found that, you know, from doing that, I could actually get reasonably good mileage, to be honest. I mean, they're advertised at sort of 120 to 150 miles in the batteries, whatever you want to say. And I've found that I'm sort of getting about 100, so that's not too bad. I think it's reasonable. I've not been driving it like Miss Daisy or anything like that. I've been driving it properly, like I would my normal car. So yeah, I found that's been quite good, and it's you do adapt your driving style to suit, and it's quite good. One thing I found, which was potentially quite, it's just I'd say quite sort of unnerving maybe for some people. Well, depending on the state of charge of your battery, it won't regenerate if your battery's full. So if you have it in the aggressive regeneration mode, as you lift and coast into a roundabout or into a towards a traffic light or something like that, it won't actually do any of this engine braking. So you may find yourself caught out a little bit. So yeah, that's the only time. But once the battery started to discharge, then the regeneration automatically sort of like rates itself so that it won't overcharge the batteries. But at the same time, I found it's quite a good feature, and I don't know, it's sort of akin to the way the Formula One cars work, which is quite cool, because it's a bit geeky. It's sort of like plays to my interest, like I say. Otherwise, from a positive point of view, I mean, it's quite a nice, comfortable ride, and to be fair, it was really easy to charge. You know, I just have a 3-pin adapter, like a 3-pin plug socket in my garage, and just, you know, you plug it into that and you plug it into the front of the car. The main thing I found, or I was told, was that you need to make sure that there's not too many appliances on the circuit, otherwise what you'll do is you'll draw too much current and then you end up tripping your circuit breakers. So my garage, there was only a freezer on it, and that wasn't a problem. So yeah, I plugged it in there overnight as I slept, and then as I came in the morning, it was a full charge. Now, it can take up to 15 hours to charge from full, which is from empty to full, which is quite a long time, to be honest. You know, I tended to start charging it when it was at about sort of 30%, just so that I would have a full charge for the next day. So yeah, I think they're sort of in a whistle-stop tour of the things I like. So now, just very quickly, the things I'm not so keen of. One is the aesthetics, the look on the outside. It's not a pretty car, you know. I mean, you sort of forget about it while you're in the car, and it's a reasonable size internally, but you know, just the looks, it's not a bonny car. There's a concept drawing of what it may look like in the future, and that looks a lot nicer. However, yeah, currently the looks, I'm not a big fan of the frog eyes on the top. You know, I'm not a fan of that. I prefer much sleeker lines. I can see what they've kind of tried to do, and it does fit in with their styling line, but I'm not a fan of the way it looks, definitely not. And then there's it's like the the main sticking point for me is the depreciation, and if you were to do any long journeys. So first of all, long journeys. Now, my family, sort of my mother and father, live up in Scotland, so if I have to drive from near London, where I am, to get to Scotland, it would take me approximately 4 to 5 charges to do that. Now, that in itself wouldn't be terrible. You know, it would add 2.5 hours onto the journey, because a rapid charge is about 30 minutes and it will charge you to 80% of your battery capacity in 30 minutes, which is quite good. It's quite quick. However, nowadays, since December 2015, you actually have to pay to use the rapid charge stations, which, well, basically with the 4 or 5 stops you do, would be the same as the diesel I'd have to put in my car to get to Scotland, and I would save 2.5 hours in the journey. So in terms of cost, it's costing me exactly the same to get there, so, but then taking more time, so that doesn't appeal. Around the town and the city, I don't think there's any contest. The electric car is actually a winner, but you know, to go long journeys is absolutely, I was game. But when I found out then you had to pay for the electric charging points now, I think it's a little bit of a con. It's as expensive as petrol, which, you know, they don't tell you that when you're looking for the cars. Originally, they sort of try and sneak that under the door a little bit. And then the second thing really was that the depreciation. I mean, it really doesn't make sense to buy a new car. So new, they're up to like £35,000, £34,000, which is just phenomenal. And then they give you this £5,000 discount, taking it down to £29,000. Now on CarWow, I got an offer of £11,500 off. Fantastic. That's a massive discount on a brand new car. So that took it down to £22,500 from the car I'd spec'd up. Fantastic. However, a 1-year-old car costs £10,000. So in 1 year, you're going to lose £12,000 on this car, which frankly just doesn't make any sense to me at all. So yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. And given that the batteries are under warranty for 8 years, you no longer need to rent the batteries either. So given that they're under warranty for 8 years, you could buy a 1-year-old car, have 7 years warranty left, run it for 2 or 3 years, so you still get the most out of the batteries, and then sell it on. And whoever you sell it to has 4 or 5 years left of warranty. So, you know, frankly, it's a bit of a no-brainer that if you are going to buy one of these things, you know, and you can get over the styling aspect and the fact that it's really a second car for town and city driving, definitely not for long journeys. You know, anything over sort of 20 or 30 miles, 40 miles, you're really, I think, starting to sort of push it, especially if it's a return journey. So a 40-mile return journey, I think you're going to be pushing it a little bit. But yeah, I think if it's a town and a city car, second car, I think it's an absolutely, you know, a viable option. But yeah, so if you can get over that, if you're only using it in the town and city, and if you can accept the fact that it's not the prettiest car, and the colours that they offer aren't particularly great. I mean, black and pearl white, not so bad, but the blue and the red just don't look good, in my opinion, anyway. So yeah, but if you can accept all that, then yeah, I'd say, you know, in a nutshell, I think they are the future, definitely. And I think we are definitely going this way. And as soon as they sort the styling out and maybe some of the economics, then I think it's absolutely going to be a worthwhile car to have. But until that point, I think I'm probably going to stick with petrol or diesel for now, and then maybe see what comes along in the next sort of 5 or 10 years. Maybe when I'm a little bit older, a bit more ready for it, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, it's good fun. It's fun, and I like the instantaneousness nature of the acceleration, but there's too many things and that don't appeal, you know, so yeah, I'll be sticking with petrol from now on. Anyway, this is my little mini review. I hope anybody who may or may not watch it finds it useful. You know, by all means, go and test drive the cars. They're really good fun to drive, and I think if you can get a 4-day test drive, it's well worth it doing it, just to experience it yourself and make up your own opinion. Frankly, it has changed my mind on a lot of things. You know, and it's opened my eyes to a lot of things, but in reality, I think, yeah, like I say, I'm not ready for an electric car yet. I think the electric cars are very close to being ready for general public use, but what I can see happening in the future is that charging stations are just going to be as expensive as petrol. If you don't charge it at home, you're just going to get stung in a huge way. And then also they need to address the depreciation, you know, and then after 5 or 6 years, you've got this car that potentially has short warranty left on the batteries, and it might be difficult to to get rid of, and you can't just get rid of the batteries. So yeah, anyway, that's my 2 pence. This is me. Thanks very much for listening, and good luck with your car search. Cheers. Bye bye.